Alright, hey y'all, it's Pizza Hulk. I'm here in New England. Gonna be looking for some zones today, just for a little while. Got a little time to kill, so it's been a second. I did get the map revealed. And, you know, got a few zones going on, but not much. See about all these supposed moose on the map. So I'm going to start looking for those guys here real soon. And I'm going to go change time and head down there and see what I can see. Start working the water, looking for moose zones on the water. So. But I'd been thinking about playing. I saw there was a patch up, hot fix, whatever you call it, and I was having a few issues before. There was a new mechanic I wasn't too fond of, the spotting, but apparently they've changed that, so I'm pretty happy about that. What was happening is when you were trying to spot something, you would put a marker down, and it could move your marker. If you use them a lot like I do, it could be a little frustrating. I get the idea behind the mechanic. You want to be able to spot something and maybe just see how far away it is or whatever. But I hear there are a ton of moose out here on this map. Many, like over 100 plus moose zones. So, I was mainly working a bit on the main story, which I think I also finished. Pretty sure I finished the main story there. Happy to see that they've reinvested in the story side on this map. I feel like they had nothing really in Mississippi. Got a bit more in Reventuli, and this map, I don't know if I would say it has as much as something like Leighton Lakes, although there is a tie-in with Leighton, but there's quite a few. And I don't know how many of these side missions are going to lead to other side missions. So, my big thing about that is, particularly if you're a new player and you haven't hit level 60, you kind of were losing out on that ability to make experience and cash like you could on some other maps. And I've sort of been hitting them, detailing about the fact that, over time, you definitely have, less hunting stands. You have less, whoa, hey buddy. Less hunting stands, less of the little, what I call info rocks. I call them that because in the early game they were just sort of represented by these little rock cairns. And they just give you a little info on the map. But they give you 100 experience. And my point being, if there's 10, then there's 1,000 experience on your map. In the early maps, you could have like 20 plus, I think. So now you're lucky to find like 4 or 5 on a map. They still haven't quite picked that up again. There he is. Oh, am I seeing things? Yep. Oh, no, there's moose out there. I don't know where Big Boy is. Why aren't y'all on the water? Whatever. Alright, let's keep trucking on down to this water, see what I can see with these moose. But I just feel like, you know, you want a ton of experience. It kind of puts you on the earlier maps, you know, as far as gaining experience and cash. Let's not forget cash. Through the missions, through the hunting stands, through the little information spots. So it just made it feel like, yeah, you kind of need to go to Layton. You kind of need to go to Hirschfeld, and you kind of, you know, I wouldn't even recommend either of those 2 maps to a beginner. I think Tijuana or Rancho. Quattro, if you don't mind the wolves early. You got some really great sort of starting places. You can use the starting guns will work on all the animals on the map, unlike Layton Lakes or Hirschfelden or many of the other places you might want to go. And Silver Ridge also has really, you know, has a fairly long storyline. Definitely has some good paying missions, as I recall. Plenty of hunting stands and info rocks and everything to get tons of experience. But if you look at Mississippi, you've got like, you know, 6 hunting stands, 5 info rocks, and 10 missions in the story. And while I don't think, again, I wouldn't recommend the map as a starting map, if you wanted to, you're definitely narrowing down the amount of experience that you could gain on that map from starting there. So it just seems like a trend I wish they would kind of dial back, and so it looks like they've figured that out on the story mode at least. And you know, it's not like I think the story mode in this game is like just crazy good, you know. I feel like it's pretty much the same mission over and over again until you get to like Mississippi. So I give them props for changing the direction in Mississippi just a bit. But basically, it's the same thing. There's poachers or bad guys. You've got to go find them. And of course, this isn't like an FPS or anything like that. You know, we don't actually deal with any of that stuff. But there's usually some animal you need to put down that they left hurt or something, or it's kind of like the cleanup mission. You know, the campers left the campsite gross. You need to go clean it up. That's in most of the story missions on every map. But they've kind of moved away from that whole thing. I like that. I'm not sure, so sure about the story one in this one. They were really trying to, I don't know, tug at some heartstrings, I guess. Okay. So I guess my point is, it's not really why people play Call of the Wild. They don't play Call of the Wild because they want a great map story. They want to shoot cool animals and play in the woods. So it doesn't have to be the greatest story. I just want something there. Because I think it's a good way to pull people around the map, especially early on. You know, you got to go find this outpost. Well, you're going to come across some tracks and maybe some zones on your way there. And then you got to go find this um, lookout tower. Well, on the way there, you're going to find some animals, find some zones, and you get up there and reveal part of your map. So, but I just felt like there's something that's definitely the hunting stand that they used to place on the map. Economically, it was way better. And it gives you an opportunity to have more hunting stands than you can put down. And now they don't always make sense. Part of it's depending on where your zones are actually going to appear on your map. It's a bit different for individuals, I suppose. I mean, my wind is good. I'm crouched. This moose has eagle eyes. Supposedly, you know, they've got animals that drink in the water because, you know, that's where the water is. But now this is pretty much my first time in this area, I believe, looking for moose. But as you can tell, this moose is not on the water. It's somewhere in this back area. And apparently it sees me over this ridge. Or behind this ridge, so. Oh, we'll see. But that was kind of my thinking. I'm like, man, supposedly there's like upwards of like 150 moose zones. Well, yeah, I keep expecting to bump into some moose. Anytime they do zones on these little rivers, it can get a little sketchy sometimes as far as like the way they're spread out or where they're at, but and this is a big map, there's a lot of water. Here's a zone. Could be whitetail. That's another nice thing, and I talk about that a lot, you know, always be looking out for those zones, you know, a few hours after they're off. So if you've got something where you're going to have like maybe moose and whitetail drinking in sort of the same area, it's nice because you can pick up whitetail zones that are there. You don't have to worry about spooking anything or shooting anything. Yep. There. Okay. We haven't fixed that yet. Got one. So anyway, with 150 zones, I would imagine there are going to be quite a few zones that just have one female or one male sitting in them. Might pop this guy just because this moose is kind of annoying. This is a 22. I thought I had the 243 on me, but apparently I don't. And I got 308. Won't get the proper score, but that's all right. I'm good with that. Apparently the spook radius is higher now. Uh, but I've only heard people who use like metric system talking about it, so I can't really tell you. Yeah, no, you usually had about, somewhere around 250 yards. They'd get weird on you. Hey, buddy. Silver, so what have you been to gold? Yeah, you made gold. But not only did I use the wrong animal, I just shot him in the spine, so. We'll take his little piece of cash and head on down the road here. I was going to hit that question mark, but I guess not now. But yeah, like I said, I really think Tijuana is one of the best. I think it's the best map to start on. For a beginner player, there's a decent amount of story there. Uh, there's a decent amount, not as much as like Silver Ridge or Layton or some of the older maps, but it's a decent amount of hunting stands you can buy. They used to be pretty valuable. I used to use them a lot. I still use some. I've even been using some on my red deer grind. And the reason I think they're a good thing to have on the map is that you can get like 7 of them, 6 or 7 of them. I don't remember the total, which one now. But for like 14,000, 15,000 bucks, whereas one tripod is going to cost you 16 grand. So it's kind of nice to spread your cash around a little bit, especially again in the early game. I'm sitting on whatever 400 grand right now. But if you decide to do a grind and you want 10 hunting, well, that's 160 grand. If you want 10 tents, that's 160 grand. So there's most of that cash sitting right there gone just for one setup for one type of animal on one map. Now, if I could get 6 or 7 of those stands for the same or a little bit less, well, that helps me, again, particularly as an earlier game player, where you could say, ugh, I just spotted all these red deer. This hunting stand's perfect. It's an elevated one. It's 2,100 bucks. I got 8 grand. Is it worth it? Well, yeah, that's going to be worth it, especially for red deer. You're going to make a ton of cash on those guys. That is spending money to make money and see a more rapid return. Otherwise, you got 16 red deer to get just to pay for the tripod. Maybe less, maybe more. Depends on what you're shooting, what you're seeing, and what you're doing. But you know, it's still going to take a bit. Whereas you could buy a hunting stand for 2,100, shoot 3 male red deer, and you paid for it and made a little cash. There we go. Got it. All right, good. Okay, we got several in here. 3. Oh, there's another one. Wind's pretty good, but these are some pretty eagle-eyed moose here lately. Can't really tell if there's anything further down the way. Is there another one behind him? There's another one back there. Can't tell what it is. I think it's a female. No, it's another male. It's a pretty big group. See if I can switch rifles and get a peek at this dude. I remember now I was playing with the new, no, he's a little guy. The new, whatever, skins for the guns. I don't not have a very good angle on that moose. Hence the fall colors on my 300 here. Which I always thought was kind of an ugly gun anyway, so. I really didn't like the copper looking barrel. Oh no, I think it's worse, and I think he's really mixed up in with those others. Oh my god. Oh, I lost it. Shoot. There's one right there. I was like, man, there could be one right over this hill. That's alright. Let's do something here today. Felt good. But I wanted to check this spot and see if this was just a wanderer, or did they have a zone across the way here? Alright. I had get aggressive. That was pretty fun. We kind of danced around a little bit. But yeah, I'm wondering if this might be like a split zone or something. Lots of fluffies, lots of big deer. There we go, whitetails. I'll take that. Another nice thing that I'm very excited about, and it does seem to be working now, is that you can get up to 4 animals in your need zones. It used to really just be 1, and then they changed it to 2. But I haven't quite found, you know, why don't you go get that for me, will you? Oh, I don't know. I got completely distracted and forgot what I was saying. Yeah, I chose the wrong little path there, didn't I, buddy? I will say this. So far, the zones are a bit more spread out than I would have thought. But I really haven't hit any lakes or anything like that. I didn't see too much activity. One of the ones I did check. Get this guy. It was a good shot. Double long. I don't know how I feel about having to go to the X-ray. Like, I just like to leave it on X-ray. So, like, could I have a choice? You know, so it's either just always on X-ray and I can choose to look at the deer or something like that. Lots of ducks here. Well, my wind's no good. I don't know where those moose went. So far, I have most of the river you can cross, even if the water's a bit deeper. I don't really want to push it. Not really like a great one hunter. I'm trying to get a great one red deer because it's my favorite. Uh, those in the fallow are my two favorite species of deer to hunt. And while I have more diamond red deer than I can count, I only have one diamond fallow. They just mean to me with that fallow deer. But yeah, and to me, Tier Water is a really great place to set up. It's not too difficult. The water makes sense. They're where they're supposed to be. And I certainly see a way to, well, to grind it out. But on a map like this, or Medved, where they're saying there's like 100, 130 zones, I don't know, man. I just think they're certainly making the grind for the great ones tougher. You know, for instance, you can only get a great one bear at night if you're hunting the water. And since before, hunting the water was pretty much the easiest way to find your animals and set up your grinds, if you want it to be, because you know feed zones and rest zones, they changed. You know, you have a feed zone at 6 to 10, right, in the morning, and then you could have a feed zone from 4 to 8 in the evening. So there's not a lot of consistency as far as the time. You're going to be changing the time a lot. It's just getting like more and more expensive, I guess, is what I'm saying. And I understand that they want to keep players interested and busy, and so they're establishing, you know, it's called the grind for a reason. But they're establishing, you know, this sort of grind thing where not only that, but I mean, you really got to get your cash up. Like I said, because there are less hunting stands available. Uh, that are already on the map that you can use. So those are less opportunities. You got to, in other words, you got to spend more money. Man, I forget exactly what the count is, but there's a limit to how many hunting stands and how many, you know, tents you can place on a map. I think it's like 10 one and 15 of the other. I just don't remember which. is which. Uh, which, of course, like I said, if you've got a map like I said, Tijuana or Silver Ridge or something like that, where they have a decent amount of hunting stands. I can't believe this thing hasn't smelled me yet. Where's your buddy? I see one in the background. But I'm less concerned about hunting than I am about getting the zones. I'm gonna take shots when I can and make a little money, but it's not really the main goal. So we'll let these guys go where they need to go. Hopefully here, as you can see, despite them supposedly being able to, maybe it's because they can go aggressive. I've been able to get up on these moose. Yeah, here I am. There you go. There is a male in there. 214, not too bad. But that was no monster, no diamond, no nothing. I don't care. Run away. We'll see you again another day, maybe. But you know, look how far these moose are. And, you know, you get one here, and then one here, and then one here, and then one here, because that's pretty spread out. And again, I was on a couple of lakes at moose time, but I will say this, you know, especially when a new map is out, I usually want to hit some place, you know, a couple of times to get all my zones filled, dude. You'll be surprised, man. Like, more often than not, I'll see a good spot. I got a tent with me right now, and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and put down a hunting stand here. I'll go back to hunt it, and then there'll be a bunch of, you know, deer, fox. It's hanging out. They got stuck in a tree. Anyway, right where I put my stand down. There we go. I don't put my stands down on generally on animals that already are in the area, especially if it's one I'm hunting for, trying to hunt with that, you know, with a stand. So. And listen, I'm always more than happy to tell you about why this game is fun, and I really enjoy playing it, obviously. But, you know, just like anything, let's give the full and fair analysis. Yeah, that's too deep. Yeah, there we go. Like I said, and for most parts of the river you can cross, you can get through it and get around in it. I've been crawling around in it for days. So how about this? I don't like hunting at night at this game. Here's another one, right? I don't think the night vision's very good. You can be the judge. You get like a crap scope as far as magnification goes. And it just doesn't look very good. So you get a little bit of fog. You can't see anything. If the moonlight is too bright, you can't see anything. It's a shame. You know, I keep saying, uh, you know, you find that great one bear in the dark, black bear in the dark, unless it's got like a really, I think, it's just going to look like a green blob. So you're not even going to know what kind of fancy great one bear you got until you go pick it up with your flashlight, I suppose. Yeah, there in the woods. But again, I just feel like, you know, there's some set up a grind on a river like this. You know, seems like it could be difficult. What if it was that same group I spooked earlier? Well, I'm seeing a decent amount of moose. I just not, you know, seeing them anywhere kind of close together. That's, you know, so like let's say my red deer set up. I could put one hunting stand down and shoot into 3 different, you know, red deer zones from that same stand. It's worth 16 grand and putting it down there, isn't it? But come on, look at that fox running around with those guys. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's feeling almost easier if I just kind of run one side of the river. You know, spot what I can. Here we go. I was trying to decide if she was trying to get back in the zone or not. I mean, for all I know, this is whitetail. Yep. So we'll try to see if there are any other markers in here. Let's see if they share this zone. Doesn't look like it. There. Ooh. Oh, shit. It's a nice looking 4. I don't think I'm going to get a shot on it, though. Especially if I don't switch my stuff correctly. Oh, maybe. Man, look at that weird angle, though. That rock is just in the worst spot. I don't mind shooting at a 4, though. Let's see if I can get a little elevation from this rock. Got the glare in the scope. It's annoying. Look at that little fox. What are you? 7. Better than that moose. We'll see about that. I feel like, and I was saying it before, the 300's been shooting blanks. Not always, but definitely on occasion. I could go to the 338 or the 7 mil. I'm just not a fan of the single shot. Well, at least we got a little spot in here. I mean, it's mostly whitetail, but a few moose. 1,500. We got about an hour left on the zone. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to put a lot of work in here to get all these zones. I believe it's recommended that you get every single zone. That way, your great one doesn't pop up in a zone that you don't know about. So, like I said, could be a zone on this side, could be a zone over on that side. Could be a zone on this other side of this little island over here. So, and I mean, think what you will. I don't think the grind was super easy, personally. Mostly just because I'm not that kind of player, really. But there's moose around. But yeah, on a river, like unlike where I would like try to creep up and get to the water on a pond or a lake, survey as much as I can before I take a shot, all that good stuff. Here is just I feel like the best way for me personally, because like I said, I don't know if I great deer grind or gray one grind. Uh, and two, I don't know if I would do it here. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do a moose grind in Leighton Lakes. I wouldn't want to do a moose grind here. I don't think I'd want to do a moose grind in Medved. I don't have a lot of experience on the Reb and Tule map, so maybe that would be the spot for me. But for me, it's not going to be. I'm not going to do a grind that's going to be stupid and hard, like ridiculously, you know. For me, like shooting 7,000 deer to get one is kind of crazy in the first place. Uh, you know, if I'm gonna do it, I at least want it to, you know, have some kind of mechanicalness to it that makes it a bit more, well, easier than what they've got for something like this. Like I said, you can go back and watch any of my red deer grind videos in Tijuana. You can see why I prefer that setup. Because again, you get that opportunity to either use a stand that's already on some water, put one down, and shoot into multiple zones. We're here, and again, I haven't really beat up the lakes yet, but definitely along the water, you're not going to be able to do that. But yeah, and then, let's say I've got 150 zones, right? And let's say 60 of those zones have a single female in them. You're going to have a lot of that. What, you know, and you'd kind of want to leave them because that's kind of what they'll stay, but like, I'm not going to remember. Just not that good, y'all. Alright. But I'm happy to get some moose zones on the map. Start figuring it out. Get some moose moving around. Let's populate this map. I don't think there's anything in particularly special on this map I'm interested in hunting. You know? Like I was excited about the alligators until I found out it was stupid. Uh, so yeah, I'm not saying there aren't, species that I wouldn't be excited about. It's just, I don't really care about the foxes or anything. I don't really do the little predator hunting that much. It's more of just opportunistic for me. Like the only time I've ever done like coyote hunts or fox hunts or anything like that was mission oriented. If I'm being completely honest. Can't really hunt from this. That's another thing too. There's a lot of. I always think it's interesting that they have a perk tree that, you know, gives you better hunting on the lookout towers. This kind of goes into what I'm talking about how things used to be and how things are now. So you get in the lookout tower. I think the best part would be for me is that when you do your survey, and it would have to only be on the new map, I assume. When you do your survey of the first lookout tower, it can also find need zones. Cool. You're supposed to also have more advantageous stuff. You know what? Just go look at it, pizza. Oh, is it skills or perks? Alright, so we'll look at my setup here. Wind prediction, startle call, this third veg now. So, look at ambusher, here we go. Alright, level 1, here we go. Unlocks the ability to scout the surrounding area for animals and signs of activity near a lookout point. You must be within 11 yards of the survey map and a lookout point to activate the skill. So I guess it's something kind of like if you, like when I switch my my skill is to change my range. So maybe it is a button you can hit when you're up at a survey tower. So that's cool. I can still use that. So it adds a chance of revealing need zones to the map. Near the lookout point where you're surveying from, adds a chance of revealing animal groups on the map near the lookout point where you're surveying from. But see, it says when surveying from it. You only get one chance to survey from a lookout tower unless you hop on a new map or something. So this is a one-shot thing. All right, yeah, and then increase the attraction range of callers when within 11 yards of a lookout. Save a little money. So, I don't think they're that great anyway. But I do know and did know, there are people that really enjoyed shooting from the lookout towers. Well, here it's not going to be that much fun because like 4 of them aren't even towers; they're just areas. I don't think any of the perks tie in. To the lookout tower thing. But the other end of that is, zones get reset. So you can't really count on where your animals are going to be, in perpetuity in this game. It's going to come to a point where they're going to switch it and change it up. It's going to happen. Believe me, there'll be a reset to every single map on this game again. Believe me. Unless they come out with Call of the Wild 2. So that place that you used to hunt those lions in Savannah from that awesome lookout tower, you know, during their feed zones, they might not be there anymore. Maybe it's kudu. Well, you're a lion hunter. You're not a kudu hunter. You see what I mean? So, I just think it's a really strange end-game perk, skill, whatever. I didn't really understand it. I didn't invest in it in the first place. I don't think I did my points that way anyway. I don't have any of the uber last tier stuff in either way, see? So I didn't invest anything in any of these. Or any of these. I'd rather spread them out differently. But I want to take a quick peek. I want to get this outpost. You want as many fast travel points as you can get in this game. Or I do. It's a bit more sparse than some of the other ones. Kind of like it. Out here roughing it. What is making all that noise? You know, that silent noise. Is it red deer? You know, I might change the time and just kind of scoot down to this lake. While I'm here, but you know, like where? You know, this is probably the most boring part of a new map. But personally, I like to show it because it shows a good difference from, like, let's say I decide to go do, go hit my red deer grind again. Go back to TOR. I've got tons of zones of TOR. I got all my tents out. I got my stands up. It's going to be a murder fest, right? Just straight up murder fest. Gank like 30 to 60 deer in, you know, one episode. And here, sometimes they're crawling through the woods for a few minutes to find nothing. There's no guarantee there's a moose on this lake. This might be where the ducks live. I don't know. Whitetail only. Could be anything. So it's where what else is on this map? Raccoons or shit? I don't know. I'm sorry. Excuse me. There's definitely, and again, I know, I know because I watch videos. I know people like hunting fox. I know they like going after these crazy raccoons. You got coyote hunters. You got, you know, folks that are really into that. I'm just not much into the critter hunting. You know, I like hunting bears, but again, I'm not going to really put together anything for a nighttime bear hunt. So it's more or less figuring out where they're eating and how it's convenient to my routes when I'm doing other things. Yeah, I'm hunting elk in Silver Ridge, and I know there's a couple of good bear zones nearby. Well, I'm gonna check those out. But and I feel like made the hunting better around the map. That's for certain. I feel like Silver Ridge was sort of like just insane, right? I played there since the reset, not a ton. All right, we got moose on the lake. A bunch of them coming in. So it looks like we might have at least one more than one zone on this one. I didn't see a single male. Wind's good. Let's go low. This guy's been spotting me. Or not. But this is not a particularly large body of water, so they might come all the way around. And there could be some on this side too. And so there are some changes that I do find a bit annoying, but I don't really think they're bad for the game. In fact, I think a lot of people would like them. I'm not a big fan of, you know, the zone starts at 12:30 or 12, let's say, and you get down there at 1, and all your mates are still moving in. Ugh, it can be annoying. But it makes it more challenging and a bit more exciting. So I'm not, like opposed to making things a bit tougher or challenging. I just remember I've never even finished all the missions on Leighton Lakes. There's so many. And at the time, you're getting missions you can't really fulfill. Right. And if you don't, I mean, I don't really use the night vision stuff much to hunt at night. A little bit. But generally speaking, it's too much, You drinking yet? There we go. And I love, like the little animations and stuff. Moose are picking up their back leg and like scratching their ears. And, there's a bit more movement. So getting your shots in can be a bit tougher. And they wander around more than they used to in their zones. I feel like a lot of times I end up with a front-facing shot. Which, depending on the species, can be a good thing or a bad thing, This definitely makes a hard shot on a moose easier, but a hard shot on axis deer is a little tougher, right? There were like at least 4 or so moose in that little group that was wandering around, so I'm hoping they're in this back cut. Maybe I can get a third zone on this lake. Like here, the terrain doesn't look very good at all to put a hunting stand down. Or a tripod anyway. Maybe a tree stand or something. Or a blind. Yeah, I really would have thought they were back there. Change is always going to, hit people differently. Okay, so another one came down here. Maybe there isn't anything back there. It's not looking like it. There, I knew it. There, got one more. Good. So potentially, it's looking like. I mean, they're all female. But let's say I had a nice little group of, you know, 2 males, 2 females, a male, 3 females, 2 males, 2 females here. They're great places, if you can get a stand down, it looks like you might be able to get into a position where you could shoot into all 3 zones. I can't really get around this back corner in the woods. Could just be the terrain right now. Males tend to... It seems like to me sometimes males tend to hang a little bit further in the back too. Especially the bigger ones. Not always, but enough that I found it noticeable. I think that's all of them. Oh, there's a male. There's a little two. Alright, looks like he's got a girlfriend over here. This is a bit flatter. It looks a little flatter down there. There might actually be, like I said, that is definitely more cost effective. That was definitely a hit. Yeah, there was another male, I think. What are those, whitetail? Maybe some whitetail feeding or resting back there. Yeah. There's definitely another male. I don't know how good that shot was. Apparently not too great. Everybody run from over here. But there is a hunting stand over here, so it might be good. A good angle from there where this stand is. I'm gonna go check it out. If it's an elevated stand, it's only $2,100. 3 zones to shoot into. To me, that's a good investment. You'd be right on top of these guys. It might be hard to get into. I'd probably try to come in with a bow. Pop whoever's ever sitting here with the bow. Clear them out. Maybe get in the stand and shoot these other 2 spots. I think this is a hunting blind though. Is 1700? Ooh. Well, they're not great. They're really not. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't even know if that guy's going down. I think I hit him though. But I'm thinking I was a little high. Above my mark there, so if it was a smaller animal, I'd be giving up. But it could take these moose a while to die sometimes with a bad shot, so. I'm just curious what the fluffies are saying. Yeah, I was also curious if there were whitetail zone in here too, because I saw that whitetail in the background running off. Alright, well, whatever. I don't have any gun for those guys either, so here's a rest zone, here's a rest zone. Bunnies. So the other thing you had to watch out for these zones sometimes is that if an animal's name was too long. Alright. So, tent here, creep down, get your shots in, maybe move on. No, you need to stand and a stand and to keep the pressure down. Or if you're only shooting one out of the group, I guess it wouldn't matter quite as much. Let's see, I think I don't have too much time to. Well, actually, I should probably get out of here. Where am I going to go next? I thought there was another outpost I'd missed. Yeah, way back here. All right, yep, Pete's got some stuff to do. I'll probably be back in a little bit, though. Do a little bit more. Maybe I'll broadcast. I don't know. It's not, like I said, the most exciting stuff. I don't think. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be some map I just constantly am beating up anyway, so we'll see how much I feel like doing. Anyway, in the meantime, if you have to catch us, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you see this at a later date or time, thanks for watching. Hope you guys are having a good day. Y'all be good to each other.